Hey everybody, and welcome to Basically Reading.
Basically Ruby's Spooky October Series, Episode 1.
Scary.
I wonder if that sounded good. Do you think it sounded good?
I hope so. We'll let the viewers, or listeners, whatever they are.
We have viewers and listeners.
Ooh, fancy.
So hopefully that works well. So in this series, we will be talking about spooky, paranormal, hauntings, and legends. Legends or legends?
You said the same thing twice.
Nuh-uh. I said it with a D and with not a D.
Legend. Oh, so we'd like Texan.
Legends.
Legend.
That sounds right, though. Right?
Yes, but it's spelled with a D.
Okay. Figure it out later.
Yes. I'm not a good speller.
And
so.
I have paperwork with me. I have to have it written down in a journal because I suck at remembering stuff.
So what's the first thing we're doing here?
Okay, we'll get to that.
Ooh.
But first, I'm going to do a little disclaimer, okay? Disclaimer. Whether you believe in this stuff or not, we are here for fun. I'm not a witch. And although I'm a believer, Brian is probably a skeptic, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah, because you don't really...
It's usually a logical.
You think I'm crazy when I say, like, I heard something.
Let's just say I don't believe in the Ouija board, but I'm not going to go out and play with one.
Yeah, that is like a huge no-no. Huge.
I'm not going to go spend the night in a haunted house.
Yeah.
Like,
So hopefully that makes for a good dynamic when it comes to talking about this stuff. If you are a child, stop watching. Alexis, our daughter, get off YouTube. I do not want to deal with it. And go to bed. Just go to bed. This is not for children. This is scary. This stuff will scar you for life.
Somehow I don't think it's going to be that scary.
Okay, so, yeah.
Alright, we'll see.
Okay. So, let's get to our topic. Our main topic is going to be about local hauntings. Okay?
Which local?
Local as in where we are.
Like physically right now or where we grew up?
Here in this closet.
Those hauntings.
And the vicinity of, our neighborhood.
Okay, so the current local.
Yeah. We're going to play a little Halloween word association today. So that should be interesting. And at the end of each episode, we will be talking about a legend.
Or legends.
Legends. Today we will be talking about La Lechuza.
Sure.
La Lechuza.
I'm just curious how many people actually know what that is before we go into it.
A Texan Mexican folklore. So not everybody's gonna know about this. I was gonna do La Llorona, but then there was a movie made after her. She became mainstream, and it's just not scary anymore. Let me take my charm bracelet off so this isn't.
Are we gonna go back to her? Because I got some great stories about her.
Yeah, we can go back to her. I just didn't want for the first. Y'all can hear my charm bracelet getting taken off. I told myself to take that off before, but I didn't. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about our setup. You see my little ghost over there? I don't know if they can see it, but my mother-in-law made that for us. She's a supporter. I'm just kidding. Probably not.
She doesn't know what a podcast is. So.
And my daughter made our beautiful fireplace that is keeping us warm in this closet.
I wanted to have some marshmallows on sticks so we can roast them a little bit, but that never happened.
Yeah, and for our listeners, we have like a purple light for ambiance. And this, what is this right here?
A candelabra.
Candelabra.
Mm-hmm.
With skulls on it.
Very fancy, high-end. Definitely can't just buy it at Walmart or something.
Yeah. I am wearing a Freddy Krueger shirt. And Brian went for a little more family-friendly.
I don't have the scary shirts. I just went with Captain America.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, let's start with our word association. Okay.
Are we going to do one-on-one or are we going to...
So, Brian had words A through N And then you screwed it up and you're like,
I fixed it.
Pumpkin. No. A through N. That way we didn't pick the same words and we have to think on it and stuff. So, you want to go first?
Do you want me to run through all mine?
Let me run through all mine first and then you can run through. It'll be your turn. Let me read mine and then...
And I'm just saying the first thing that pops in my head?
So yeah, that's how word association... I guess I forgot the rules. That's how word association works.
Okay.
I'm going to say a word and you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. And try so hard not to make it dirty or foul. And that's the hardest part about word association.
We don't like chickens.
We do not like chickens. Okay, ready? Ready? Witch.
Wart.
Wart? You gotta go a little faster than that. Okay. Spider.
Scary.
Ooh. Trick.
Or treat.
That's 2 words. But okay. Sneaky.
Peaky. Just wrong. I don't just get my head shut up.
Peaky. Robot.
Wally.
Okay, so I had a hard time doing with like just Halloween words, so we did things like you can dress up as. So that's why I say robot.
Robot.
And you're gonna make fun of the way I said it. Treat.
Tricks.
Ah, see, you said the other one backwards. There was no word treat. Okay. Ready? Paranormal.
Scary.
Pumpkin.
Pie.
That's not wrong holiday.
But it's okay.
Zombie.
Wart.
Warts.
I was thinking flush. And then words came out.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm in the shot. Okay. Undertaker.
Tombstone.
Ooh, that's a good one. Look at you. Web.
Spider.
Spell.
Witch.
Good job. Very good.
I did bad at that, didn't I?
No, I'm gonna do really bad. I'm terrible under pressure. I do not trust my mouth.
Alright. Mine is just scary items / Halloween items / October-ish things. Are you ready?
Yes.
Remember, say them quickly after I finish this word. Boogeyman.
Who?
It's not even a word. You an owl? Who's the boogeyman? That is in a form of a question. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
We're not playing Jeopardy. Right. Boogeyman.
Wait, you just said that.
You didn't answer.
Okay.
Boogeyman.
It's just onomatopoeias that want to come out. Right? That's what they are. Onomatopoeias.
They're sounds, yes.
Okay.
Now, put those sounds into a word.
Okay. Okay, I already got a word. Go.
I'm gonna do it again. Ready?
Okay, one more time.
Boogeyman.
Scary.
Costume.
Party.
That's actually a good one. Bloody.
Murder.
Ooh. Eyeballs.
Wow.
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 You can really dance.
Oh.
Eyeballs.
Oh.
Stop.
I tell you, this is the worst game. Okay.
Eyeballs.
Lick. Let's skip that one. It's too hard for me.
Corn maze.
Lost.
Fair. Jack-o'-lantern.
Pokey.
Pokey.
Pokey. Like when you carve it.
Didn't I say pokey to one of yours?
Did you?
I don't remember. Demon.
Scary.
You already
I
used
was
scary.
scary. Dark.
Boo.
Boo.
Fair enough. That's supposed to... Darkness.
Light.
That's good. Candy.
Cane. Ooh, Ron Holiday again.
Ghost.
Where? What was that?
It's a ghost.
I really hope the mic picked up on that. Your stomach was... It's like ghost.
And you said what for ghost?
Ghost. Hunters.
That is all I have.
That was terrible.
You did phenomenal.
Phenomenal. My eyes are like watering. I was very...
Boogeyman.
Whew.
I'm surprised you didn't say, like, I'm coming to get you. I don't know.
No, I went with the word, is onomatopoeia the right word?
Yes.
Onomatopoeias. Yeah, that's what I went with, because that's what came to mind.
Well, that went interestingly.
I need to take a breather. I should have bought some water. Okay, so that was our word association. Hopefully we can do that for every one of these podcasts. That was
Should
fun.
we come back to the fact that you said lick for eyeball?
I was hoping we wouldn't remember that. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So our main topic is local hauntings. So do we want to start? We are going to start with our house here.
In this closet.
Where we live.
Where we're podcasting / filming.
Okay, so first of all, we live on Fort Irwin,
California,
on Post.
For those of you who don't know, that's vicinity of Death Valley. So
Yeah. It was established around 1940, so it's actually not that
I didn't think we were going into a history lesson.
late. Well, I want to kind of give them a little bit of the history.
Go ahead.
It's not that
Educate me.
It's not. I don't really have that much history. I didn't look into it, but I wanted to see how old this place could be. Our house is actually not that old. When do you think this was built?
Oh, these were back in the 2010s. These were all trailers.
Really?
Yeah, they recently, like 2010 beyond, they started actually building houses. So these houses are less than 10, 15 years old, maybe.
Huh. Okay.
So it's not an ideal place to live.
Yeah, and we're like in the middle of the desert. So if you draw like a circle, and then there's a town over here, and then you draw a line, and then we're like in the middle.
That made no sense. What she's trying to say is the one and only road in and out of this place, the nearest town is like 45 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's not a big town.
No. And I mean,
It's got a Walmart.
We lived out in the country when we were younger, so we're probably not used to that anymore, but...
And there was people with a highway.
Yeah, but we know what it was like
and there are other
not to be around, like...
But
what I'm saying is we know what it's like to have to drive 30 minutes to a Walmart.
Fair.
But I think it's just the fact that there's nothing, like, around us.
Yeah, at least back then we had smaller towns all around us we can get to.
Yeah, we're like just a tiny little cul-de-sac, basically. It's a cul-de-sac.
The term that they use when I got here is the world's longest cul-de-sac.
Yeah, so there you go.
Because it's a 45-mile drive to get to a U-turn and go back the other direction.
Okay, so first of all, it is in the middle of nowhere. And
also,
I think that's...
the world's longest extension cord.
Oh, okay.
That's why we have a lot of power issues.
I think that's where a lot of people feel uneasy about this place to begin with. Because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that can make anybody feel horrible, to say the least. Because it can get...
Very isolated.
Very isolated. And it gets very quiet at night. Very quiet.
Except for the coyotes and the donkeys.
The donkeys. We have donkeys. Okay, anyways, we're getting off topic.
Scary.
So, the first thing that happened in this house, you were downstairs, and I was upstairs putting the kids to sleep. I don't know where you go, you disappear. You feed the dog or something. It's just so terrible, I'm scared already. And, the kids fell asleep pretty quickly because I put the sound machine on, and it was white noise, basically. And, Boston was laying to the right of me, and Lexi was curled up like a little puppy.
What, were they all in our bed?
Yeah, they were all on our bed.
Okay.
Okay, so Boston was to the right of me, Lexi was curled up at the bottom, like a little puppy.
Oh.
And I was like, I either got on my phone or I started, like, reading. It was probably my phone because the lights were off. Anyway, so white noise is going. Ugh. And all of a sudden, to the left of me, I hear, Mommy. Like that, just super like, Mommy. And I was like, oh, what was that? My kids were asleep. Like, they were asleep. Completely just asleep. And I knew whatever that noise was, it didn't come from them. But, like, I don't know, for some reason, like, my brain registered it before... This is not going to make any sense. My brain... Okay, hold on.
You heard it before you processed it?
Yeah, like, my body reacted to the sound before I processed what I just experienced.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And this thing, it didn't come from, like, the white noise, because the white noise is kind of...
To your right.
...known to, like, paranormal investigators actually use it to, like, bring out these things. I really wish I would have known that. Otherwise, I would have stopped playing it in this house after knowing that these places are haunted around here. Anyways, so my body reacted to it before I did. I got, like, extremely hot. Like, I heard it, and then, like, I started sweating immediately. Like, immediately. And then I realized, holy crap, like, that didn't come from my kids. That was to the left of me. Everything else, white noise, everything was all around me over here. That noise came between the bed and the wall. And there was probably, like, 2 feet between the bed and the wall. And then we had that big old window. And then I was like, okay, maybe it was somebody outside, but no, it wasn't somebody outside. It was a whisper. I wouldn't be able to hear somebody outside whispering that. What, Mr. Skeptic?
Was this before or after your saging?
This was before.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. So there was more. Oh, okay. So here's another thing that happened, since we're talking about white noise. And this might not be paranormal. This can totally be debunked. Debunked is the word. This could totally be debunked. We got walkie-talkies. Remember?
The ones for the RV?
No, we bought walkie-talkies for the kids.
Yeah.
And they brought it, and everything was fine until Lexi came downstairs and was like, Mommy, there's a man that was talking to me. And I was just like, what? And I was like, well, what did he say? And she was like, he goes, you have a pretty voice. And regardless or not, if it was a ghost or if it was an actual person, that is creepy. That is creepy.
It is. But they all work off the same radio waves.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
nearby,
saying.
especially the neighbor, has a
That's what I'm saying. I doubt it was paranormal because it can be debunked. But the fact that there was a man, and I said, well, what, was it a little boy? And she's like, no, it was a man. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Because one, when she's talking, she's obviously a child. And then she hears, oh, you have a pretty voice? You talk like that to a child, a little girl, on some whatever. He obviously knew he tapped into a different frequency. Regardless, no walkie-talkies are allowed in this house ever again. That's just scary.
Yeah, it is weird. I don't know what to say about that. That was weird. I don't think, like you said,
I don't think it was
supernatural.
anything supernatural or paranormal.
We're also on well.
Because everybody uses walkie-talkies out here. People bring them from work and go home and then they use it.
Those run off a different...
Oh, do they?
There's a civilian range and there's a military range.
Okay, so I don't know where that voice came from then.
More than likely it's another kid with another walkie-talkie. They all use the same frequencies.
She said it sounded like a man though, but I don't know if I want to take her word for it.
Probably a kid. It was probably the neighbors with their kids.
Her friend.
But I just remember when I was kids, back in the day, before cell phones, we all had walkie-talkies when we ever went to a theme park or anywhere else.
Yeah.
So my parents would give us a walkie-talkie, they'd have one, and we'd always jump on somebody else's thing. I remember my sisters we'd give them random instructions and have random conversations with people all the time.
I have to see if this is recording. Hold on.
Well, this is awkward.
New setup here. Okay, it's recording. Sorry. Back to the podcast. As you were saying, Brian.
But yeah. I mean, we've done it as kids. People come on our frequencies all the time.
Yeah.
We have conversations. We think they're our parents. They think we're the kids because there are people doing the same thing, and we try to link up, meet up with them. I've set some people on some random goose chases, I'm pretty sure, back then.
That's kind of funny. Okay, so then there was a third thing that happened. And that's when you were at work. But I didn't know. I thought you were home.
Which time?
Okay, so I woke up And I was being lazy. And I didn't want to get up because the kids were still asleep. And I was like, okay, I can have some time to myself. And so I was just on my phone. And I heard footsteps coming up the stairs. Like real life footsteps. Like just like somebody was...
Oh, I remember this text.
Walking up the dang stairs. And then so I was sitting there like on my phone. And I was like, okay, Brian's coming up the stairs. And then like... It went through the hallway, but when it was coming through the hallway, it was sounding like somebody was trying to sneak up on me. Like I thought you were trying to sneak up on me.
Sounds like something I do.
Just to say like, why are you still in bed? Kind of thing.
Why were you still in bed?
Because I was being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways. That was your stomach again. Anyways.
Was it?
So, I hope so. You were coming, or it was coming down, like, down the hallway, and like it was sneaking, like the footsteps were kind of like a sneaky type of footstep. And so I just go, like, I hear you, because I thought you were messing with me. I was like, I hear you. And then it stopped. And I was like, Brian, like, stop. And I was like yelling at you, and you weren't even here. I was like, stop. I was like, don't do that. I know you're here. Just, what are you doing? I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. I think it's one of our kids, though.
That was kind of creepy. Good timing on their part.
That was great timing.
Mommy, Daddy, yes, he just hit my character.
Hit her back.
She keeps killing your character.
No, hitting my character.
Oh.
Go hit her back.
Go hit her back.
But yes,
just tell her to stop. Tell her Mommy said stop. Okay?
Okay.
Love you. That kind of scared me a little. They have good timing.
As you were saying, you're yelling at me as usual.
Saying, parent life. Yeah, so you were coming down the stairs, or not you. I was yelling at what I thought was you coming down the hallway. And then I realized, oh crap, well what if it's not him? And so I texted you and I was like, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm at work. It's like, no, you're not.
I did text that, yes.
And then I don't know, for some reason I just wasn't scared, and I was like, oh, well, it's a ghost, and it's coming for me.
Or it could have been maintenance.
That's just creepy.
They have permission into the house.
I know, and that's like one of my biggest fears too. Like, I'm so afraid to like...
They typically knock.
I'm so afraid to just one day just, you know, I don't know, big braless or something, and the maintenance guy's just standing up in my bed. Oh, I'm just fixing this air conditioner.
Just randomly walks in.
Yeah. And I'm like,
that
oh,
wouldn't
hey.
be creepy at all.
Yeah, that's a different kind of creep.
Pete. Or it could have been Shiner, our doggy.
No, our dog was not inside.
You sure?
But, I mean, I guess you could have... No, but this wasn't a dog. This was just like a creeping. Like it was trying to scare me. I almost thought that maybe Lexi was awake.
Was she decided no one was awake and decided to go back to bed?
No, she was asleep. Anyways, so I staged the house. And it wasn't like a full-on sage of the house. It was just...
Where does one get sage in the middle of Death Valley in the desert?
Well, they have it like an hour out, so you can go get it. Anyways.
Randomly, yes.
If you don't know what you're doing with sage, it could be dangerous, though.
And do you know what you're doing?
Because the thing can completely, if you actually have the activity, it can completely act out and lash out. So, that's what I learned from ghost hunters. Yeah.
And do you know what you're doing?
Somewhat. I try. But it wasn't like a full-blown sage. It was just a candle that was made with real sage. No, I didn't use that other sage.
Oh, you didn't use the one you bought?
Knock on wood. I didn't have to. Because I had used that candle, and that was just made with real sage. And I went around the house, and there's always this thing I always do every time we enter a home, because we're always moving to these old houses, and military posts are old. And many, many families go through all of these posts, and you don't even know what happens in the houses before we get there. There's so many families that are in houses that we go into, and you don't know if maybe domestic violence, somebody kills somebody, which somebody just killed somebody like 2019.
What are you pointing over there? What are you doing?
In 2019, somebody murdered their wife, like, one street down in that way. So, I mean, like, it happens. And you don't know, like, how many times that happens in your house. So, there's that. But I always, every time I enter a home, I always have 3 things that I say. Do you know what those 3 things are, Brian?
If you're here, I don't want to hear you.
I don't want to hear you.
I don't want to feel you.
I don't want to feel you.
I want to see
I don't want to see you. And we can coexist in this home. I don't have to kick you out. I don't want to stage the whole home and, you know, all that stuff. I don't want to kick you out. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. And I don't want to feel you. And sometimes that's all it takes if you are a believer.
Now, did you do that stuff in our first home at Binning?
After I heard that it was haunted, yeah.
You didn't realize it after the first few months of realizing it was haunted?
Yeah. Well, okay, so that was the exception. The ghost was the exception because I did the whole I didn't want to see you, I don't want to feel you, I don't want to hear you. But we smelled them.
That is true.
We smelled like random cigarette smoke like right next to us all the time. That was really weird.
He's a cool ghost, though. I mean,
yeah, we named him George.
A little mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
Flickered the lights every now and then.
Yeah.
Turned off the lights every now and then.
Yeah.
But he'd shut the door for us occasionally.
That's true. I was actually... this is scary. I was actually joking with Brian the other day because... With you. Sorry, okay. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to them at the same time. Because, like, Boston, our son, stopped sleeping well in his bed. And he would always...
Oh, God.
He would always go downstairs in the middle of the night. And...
It's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you would find him, like, crying, right? Downstairs?
He'd walk downstairs in the living room and just cry in the middle of the room.
That's freaky. And I was, like, joking with you, like, what if something's picking him up from the bed and leading him downstairs? That freaks me out. I'm like, don't mess with my babies. I don't like that. But...
Got to the point where we had to build a barricade between him and the stairs to try to funnel him and corral him back to our bedroom, so that way at least he'd end up in our bedroom, because it's literally one door over upstairs.
I don't know why I'm caressing my
Freddy Krueger.
My Freddy Krueger. I was getting a little scared.
Yeah.
He makes me feel better. My shirt, my Freddy Krueger shirt. But yeah, I was joking about that, and then I kind of scared myself. But
it happens a lot, doesn't it?
I think it's okay. I think he's just he falls asleep downstairs a lot. And I think that's just where he thinks we are when he wakes up in the morning. Or when he wakes up in the middle of the night.
That's my logic, is he falls asleep downstairs, I carry him, put him in his bed, and then he probably still thinks we're in the living room watching TV. So he tries to make his way back there. We're not there, and then he gets scared and cries.
Yeah. Well, one time he was like...
Or a ghost is leaving him downstairs, either way. I mean, it's fine.
That's scary. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, that's a little odd, actually.
Is it still recording?
It's recording now, because I pressed the recording button, but something completely stopped that recording button. Ooh. Do
we continue our conversation?
I think we should, because I just think we should, and now I'm scared. Okay. My camera's never done that.
Well.
If I'm not in frame,
you're
it's because I don't want to go over there and touch my camera again to fix it.
You're exposing some works here. I don't know if they appreciate it.
Anyways, well, we still have the podcast running, so hopefully we don't catch anything on that thing later on when I'm editing it. That would be really scary, and I would stop and I'd go to church, like, tonight, tomorrow.
Or Sunday when they run it, because I don't know if they run daily mass.
Okay, so anyways, now that I'm sweating, so the rumor is that maintenance put up these crosses for protection. And usually the crosses that are the homes that have the crosses are the most active.
Yes.
So there's that, which is really creepy.
People report them all the time and are freaked out by them too, because they don't know the backstory to it. So they just randomly.
Well, and also they think that there's also rumor that the maintenance person was like an ex-pastor who just did it just to do it because he wanted just to bless the homes before people moved into it. So there could be that.
Yeah, I assume that's what it was, but I thought it was more of a because of hauntings and less,
Yeah. So let me tell you an actual ghost story.
About here?
About here.
Okay, go ahead. Have I heard this one before?
I don't know. Your stomach is just going wild. So...
It's scared, okay?
There is a supposed ghost on post that goes by the name of... I don't even want to say his name because I'm scared.
Is it George?
Let's just make up a different name. Let's go to George. Okay?
Georgie.
Because I don't want to call it out. No, don't say Georgie. That's a whole different kind of scare.
Yeah, but that's Stephen King type.
Yeah. So, he, apparently he appears after midnight. Well, he doesn't appear. They hear him after midnight. They hear him, like, wailing. Which, we have donkeys, and donkeys like to wail. I can hear them outside at night. Oh, what if it's George?
What if it's a donkey?
It's probably a donkey because they like to be by our houses at night.
We do see them cross the street and walk on the sidewalks. It's pretty funny.
So people have seen George, and apparently his eyes are all white, and he has boils all over his body.
Sounds unpleasant.
Yeah. And he is heard saying, "I didn't do it, Sarge."
So he's military.
Yes, because this place has been around for a little while. Not a long time, but a little while. And apparently he committed suicide, which is unfortunately common here. And, really. So apparently he comes up to you, because people have said this, that he comes up to you and he, like, violently shakes you. And while he's doing it, he, like, wails like they said, like an injured animal.
Like a banshee?
Yeah. And he shakes you. And then, there's somebody like actually fainted because they were terrified.
That sounds terrifying. I'd be scared too. Somebody that many boils on their face, not a pleasant sight. Especially when they just come up to you and start shaking you.
Yeah, and then that's just a common... I read that in an article.
Ooh.
Not the article I tried to send you and almost got you in trouble.
Yes, for worshiping the occult.
Yeah, so I emailed Brian a web page of just some of the stories that people kind of sent into this. Go to, I think it's Ghosts of America. I'm not quite sure. I'll link it to whatever and put it in the comments or something. But it just has ghost stories from everywhere. And so they had one for Fort Irwin, and people sent in their stories or whatever. And I wanted to send you this one particular one.
Are we going to talk about it?
Actually, I have it on my phone, so I'm going to share it in a second. But I wanted to share it, like actually have a paper to share it with. So I wanted you to print it. Yeah. So I emailed it to you, and I wanted you to print it. And then you pulled it up, and it was like, it blocked you because it's a government computer. And it said it blocked you because it had to, like...
do with cults? Or the
occult.
Something in the occult.
No. And I'm just like, it's just a ghost story. But I'm like, oh my gosh, did I get you in trouble?
No. I always pull up those websites for random things.
Yeah.
It blocks me a lot for games or stories or social media.
So there's another story about Fort Irwin Road. Have you heard that one?
Probably not.
Well, there's like crosses at a certain area out there.
You talking about the little wooden crosses that I see? Those little white wooden crosses?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I haven't seen them, but apparently you go out there, and like if you're out there at night, like some people say they just get out of their car because they're idiots. But first of all, you shouldn't be getting out of your car at that area because that is so dangerous. That road is crazy dangerous, obviously, because there's ghosts living on it, but there's a reason there are people dead there.
The one and only road in and out of this place?
Yeah, exactly. The one and only. This is why I don't like coming home at nighttime. But people, like, get out of their vehicle, and they say if you do that, like, you can just feel like it's just heavy out there. Like, it just feels creepy, like something's wrong. Like, I'm just like, don't get out of your vehicle. That's number one, like, no. Don't get out of your vehicle. Always stay in the car, man. People die when they get out of their vehicle. But...
Ooh, urban legends.
Yeah. Ooh, we can get into one of those. But, somebody had said that they were driving down the road one day, and there was, like, a shape of a lady, but not quite a shape of a lady, but it was just more like a cloudy mist or something that like went from one side to the other. It freaked him out. I wonder...
Was it like a censor blog of a naked lady on TV?
I don't know. A block.
They censored her out because she was naked, maybe?
Maybe.
Jesus, be censored.
I wonder if that's the part where I always get sick in the car. Your stomach just howled.
I got scared.
But I wonder if that's the part where I
always get sick at a certain part.
car.
It's usually on the downhill, and there are crosses in that area.
I'm gonna check next time, because there's always a part where I always feel like nauseous.
Uneasy.
And uneasy.
It could be because we're going downhill at speeds. And
true. But I have, like, I don't know, like an intuition or something about that kind of stuff.
You're sensitive?
Sensitive. I do believe I'm a sensitive.
You are
I will get
sensitive.
to that. Yes. I will get to that in another podcast. Because I don't want people to think I'm crazy in the first podcast.
We'll let you think she's crazy in the third podcast.
Second and third, so I can tell y'all some of my experiences about that stuff. Yeah, y'all are going to think I'm nuts. Or y'all are going to believe me, and those are the cool people that I want to be around.
I'm married to her. I still think she's nuts, but it's cool.
Okay, so there's another one. This one's kind of cute, actually. A cute ghost story.
Oh, I love cute ghosts.
So somebody had said that they had like a cat, like a is phantom the word? Phantom cat?
Sure.
But anyways, their toddler would like chase it around and try to catch it.
Poor kitty.
Yeah, and they like saw it and stuff, and then the toddler would run and like she tried to catch it, but obviously it's ghost and you can't catch it. So there's that. That's a cute one.
Kinda, sure.
Sure.
Scary.
Okay,
scary cat.
let me tell y'all, or let me pull up the story or that webpage that I was gonna.
I will say though, people stopping in the middle of the desert is not that uncommon, just because hey, there are no lights out here and these stars look absolutely beautiful.
That's true. Maybe that's what people are doing. Okay, so it's called ghostofamerica.com. So if y'all go to that, if y'all like scary stories, y'all can go there. And these are probably not just stories. They're like real, like they experience this. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip the village they're in, because I don't want to scare the people that are living in that village if, they're, okay, whatever.
Is it our village?
It's not our village.
Yes. Suck it.
Okay, so this person said, we had crosses in every closet, cabinet, and drawer. That's what we were saying earlier. I was told the maintenance people put them there to protect us. We tried cleansing the house, and all of us were attacked while sleeping within 24 hours in retaliation. See, I told you they retaliate sometimes. Sorry. So we made a truce. Leave us alone, and we will leave you alone. I tell you, Ghost Hunter says it works. We'll go back to the article.
I was going to say, was that you or the article?
That was me. We experienced feeling something near watching, seeing things in the corner of your eye, footsteps upstairs, ending with a big bang nightly. Nightly.
Damn, good for them.
Flickering lamps, lights, which could be faulty wiring, because this place, we have one downstairs. TV being turned on and off, attic panel moved askew, door under that attic panel in between master bed and bath violently shaking when it closed. We also were told after maybe a year there that a soldier left by his family at Christmas committed suicide there a few years before we moved in, and it was left vacant to allow neighbors to move away. Wow, so if that happens, they just leave it vacant?
Oh, what are you going to do? Just clean up the blood and let the next family move in instantly?
And then the rumors start, hey, that's where that
Yeah, you got to let all those people move away a couple years.
I feel so sad for these people.
But it's the military, so give it like 6 months and you're going to get a whole new set of people who don't know any better.
Oh, that's so sad. It happens too often. That's a whole nother conversation, but let's move on. Ready for his next sentence? We tried to use a Milton Bradley Ouija board right before we left.
Milton Bradley, look at that.
And it worked for sure, even by itself, just didn't tell us anything but Mr. C. First of all, don't use a Ouija board. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it.
Like Mr. Sue, the gas station?
Yes. I have since continued to try to figure out what happened, and now there's this website from research. I can say I'm now a paranormal expert, but I still have not happened to figure out what happened at Fort Irwin. It's not the only house with crosses. Almost all the old ones had crosses, or maybe all of them.
Dun, dun.
Not all of them. It is pretty much just the older houses, which is kind of interesting. But maybe that maintenance guy passed away or something, or he quit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or he retired.
Or he retired.
It's been going on for a while. I have not come across any crosses in our house.
I'm not looking for them.
I mean, I have some on the walls just from, decoration. Or,
Yeah.
our crosses that we brought with us.
So do you want to take a break, or do you want to keep going?
We could do a 30-second break.
I think we should keep going, because I don't know what's going to happen with my camera.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's get to our legends. Urban legends, folklore.
I don't like these.
Because they scare you, and I tell
That's
you,
'cause
that's
it's my
why, that's
childhood.
why I put a disclaimer at the beginning of this.
Kids ain't scared of this stuff no more.
You're right. Take my phone away. No! That's what they're scared of. Okay, so we're going to talk about La Lechuza.
What is?
Okay, Brian, can you tell me what you know about La Lechuza? I want to see if...
Like the origin story or what it is?
What have you heard?
I don't remember the origin. I used to know the origin story. But I remember it is an owl-like creature who has the face of an old man kind of gnarled up.
Okay.
And basically comes and takes people and their souls, basically.
Okay. So...
if you're alone at night, it'll cry first.
Ooh, okay.
Give you a nice little wail to let you know it's in the area, and then...
So...
To me, that's when you run.
It's pretty good. So...
Did you do the research? Do you have the actual story?
Yeah. But everybody has a different version of La Lechuza, so don't tell me. Don't come over here and say, my abuelita told me this. Because it's going to be different every time, okay? This is what I found. La Lechuza means owl. So you got that right.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? I didn't even know Lechuza meant owl.
Is it just owl, like normal owl?
La is like woman, so
What?
La Lechuza owl.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just owl. I'm going to do a side note. Because I was watching like a Latin Mexican mass singer last summer, and they had a La Lechuza on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Scary, but funny. Okay, so it is a witch who was murdered, and to have her revenge, she came back as an owl that murders people, basically. That's what it is.
But with the face.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have the face?
Yes. Some people think that she's really big, like has a huge wingspan, really big owl with a woman's face. Some people believe that she is small, and not small, not like tiny, but like a regular sized owl with a woman's face.
I always thought it was an old man's face.
See, La is woman.
That makes sense.
But, so yeah.
Maybe it's old woman. Maybe I'm just misremembering.
And you can hear her screech. And that's usually when she's out looking for her next victim.
Do these victims have anything in common, like sinful or anything like that?
My dad always told us, and this wasn't what I found in the research, I didn't really look into it that much.
So unbaptized people.
Was unbaptized babies. Kids. People that are unbaptized. This thing comes after you. That's just what my parents were always like, baptize your kids as soon as they get born. They need to be baptized because the Lechuza is going to
They
come
also
get
said
them.
you couldn't cut their fingernails till like
Facts.
the first full moon of the summer or something. I forgot what it was. But it
And
was,
I had to put keys on my pregnant belly during a full moon, okay? Yes. These things go
Did
back.
you do it?
Yes.
For both children. Because
Yes.
one was a little wild and crazy, and I can guess which one you didn't do it with.
Yes. So, another thing is she disguises herself. So she's a shapeshifter, okay? Sometimes she can be a woman by day, like a regular witch by day. And
Pretty.
then, maybe. I didn't say she was ugly. She's gotta attract people somehow. So she's a regular witch by day sometimes, and then by night she turns into this owl or whatever. And some people say, like when you were saying earlier about the crying, she can disguise herself as a baby crying at your front door, getting you to...
that's just creepy.
Right? Getting you to open the door, and when you open the door, she attacks. True story.
I heard one version where she's more of a punisher for, like, sinful people.
Really?
That was later on in life that she was just going after.
Okay, so I actually have a story about Lechuza.
Mine are just mostly me hearing things and running away in the dark.
I actually have a story.
Go ahead.
Actually, I kind of have two, but the second one's kind of like, meh. But the first one's kind of creepy, okay? So y'all ready? Y'all ready? Ready? Are you sitting down? Okay, so
yes.
When I was a kid, I used to sleep next to my parents because we were poor, and I love my bed. I had my own bed. I had my own bed next to my parents, and I would sleep there. And my parents had a window above their bed. Oh, I touched something up there above their bed, and one night they heard like ladies fighting in a tree that was right outside their window. And obviously my dad's like, Lechuza is out there, right? And so it was just like these two ladies fighting like in a different language, like
not Spanish.
I don't know, but just Dad didn't say it was English. Different language.
Not cats.
Not cats, okay? Because there's the creepy parts coming. So they're fighting, and Dad's like, "Oh, it's Lechuza. Like we need to just maybe ignore it. I don't know. Maybe it'll go away because it's trying to get our attention, right?" And then all of a sudden, I start speaking in my sleep. I'm not a speaker in my sleep. I started speaking in my sleep. I don't know if I was speaking the same language as they were, because that would be really, really freaky. I don't know that part. But I started speaking in my sleep. And so Dad said it sounded like I was communicating with them. And so that's when he starts like freak out, and he just starts cussing it out, like, get the blah, blah, blah. Can't really say it, but he starts cussing it out, and then he said he heard the wings, and then just it left. But apparently that's how you get them to leave. And that's what Dad always told me, is you cuss them out and you get it to just get the heck out of there.
So where'd you learn to cuss them out besides your dad? Is it actually...
It's actually in the research that I did.
Okay.
That's how you do it. The research I did also said that you can use salt. I don't know how they use the salt in that way. You just get some... Just like open the door and just all the shake the salt out at them.
I have an assault gun. My little bugs.
Yes, use your assault gun.
For those who don't know, an assault gun is a gun that shoots salt pellets, usually to kill insects.
Yours broke, but now we have to get another one.
I love that little gun. I love going for flies, trying to shoot flies out of the air with a little salt gun.
That's awesome. That's so great. I'm going to get those and hand them out to family.
We need a better one with longer range if that's the case.
Yeah.
But we're going supernatural, Dean Sam Winchester hunting.
Yeah. Oh man, but that's a good one. That's just Mexican-Texan folklore. If you're not from Texas and you've heard of that, let us know. I'd love to hear people's stories about this, just to see what the difference is between families of what this thing actually is.
It also amazes me how many of these folklores aren't even originating in Texas, Mexico. They're actually just overall like chupacabra. I always thought that was straight Texas.
Okay, so I have another one.
Ooh, another story?
Recent, yes.
Lechuza?
Maybe? I want to say no.
Do I know this story?
Just because I want to say no? Yeah, I told you this. So, last summer I was staying with my dad, who was on hospice.
You did tell me this story.
And, we were watching Bird Box. It was movie night. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And yes, we did movie night almost every single night because I gave him anything and everything he wanted. Because he was dying.
Tends to help when you're dying.
Yes. So we're like, okay, you want a movie night? And it had to be around 10 o'clock because he has to watch the news at 9. And then we start the movie, okay? So it was already late. And Bird Box in itself is like a silent movie. Like, it's quiet. It's a quiet movie until it starts to get scary.
It's a Sandra Bullock one, right? Where they can't see.
Yeah.
Or they're not supposed to see.
They're not supposed to see, like, the evil, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was all going good, and the kids weren't all that scared. And yes, I let my kids watch it. It's okay. They're fine.
Wouldn't go that far.
Oh, they're fine.
They were not affected by that. It's fine.
It's all good. So during the movie, I heard some scratching on the RV door. Yes, like that. Some scratching on the RV door. And I just thought, like, oh, maybe it was like, what are those big bugs? Like they make a lot of noise.
The June bugs? Or?
No, they're big.
Cicadas?
Yeah. Is that what they are?
It depends what you're talking about.
Cicadas?
Whatever.
The ones that are like...
Sure. Let's go with this for the story.
Okay. So I thought it was one of those, just kind of scratching, because they have like big claws. And so I was like, oh, like that's ugly. So I get up and I kick the door and I'm like, make it go away. And then I go and I sit back down. We're watching the movie. And then it happens again, but it's more like a clawing at the door. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I'm over here like, maybe it was a raccoon clawing at the door. And I'm like, nah.
I would have gone to cat. And
I go and I kick. We didn't have any cats. We had no more cats. And I go and I kick the door again. And I sit down again. And then it happens again. Stop making the sound effects. It happens again, just like a... And I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And I'm thinking maybe it's Tommy, my dad's dog. Maybe he's like freaking out about something. And I'm like, no, I'm not opening that door to figure it out. I kick the door again. And I go and I sit down again. And then I see the RV door, like, opening. Like this. Because you have to open an RV door a certain way. Kind of like if you're...
It's a latch.
Okay, so kind of like if you're opening up a can of soda. That motion to open up a can of soda, if you turn your arm, or if you turn your hand to the side, that's the same motion, right? So you have to do this. And that's what I saw. The RV handle was creaking open like that. And I looked and I was like, no, that's not happening. It's not happening. I was like, this is not happening. And everybody else is completely oblivious. Dad's laying on the couch. We're all watching the movie. I'm like, this is not happening, man. And then I'm looking, I'm like, no, it's not happening. And then it's like, and I'm like, I gotta get up and I gotta kick the crap out of this door because something's trying to get in. And so, yeah, that's what I did. I got up and I kicked it and I was like, go! I go away! Leave us alone! And then I go and I'm like kicking this door hard. I probably put some dents in it and I was like, go away, leave us alone!
Dented my RV?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then I sit down and it stopped. Like, that's it. It stopped. And Dad, as soon as I sat down, Dad was like, what was that? What was that? And I was like, nothing, I'll tell you later, because I didn't want to scare everybody. I didn't even want to scare him. He was fragile. I was freaking out because I have my kids, and then I have him, and he's like he's fragile. He was a fragile, dying man. And I was like, I'm not going to scare him. Lechuza's coming for us. Well, what was I supposed to say? But anyway, so there was that. And then, sadly enough, he passed away. And I decided to stay there, which was probably not a good idea. I stayed there, and not the night after he passed away, but the night after that, because I was like, oh, I'm okay now.
Yeah. That doesn't affect me.
And I go and I sit down, I sit down. It was bedtime, and I go and I lay down. I'm like, gee, I hope nothing happens tonight, because it's kind of scary.
You spent the night in there the night after?
Yeah. And I mean, he died in that house, or in that RV. So I don't know, I just wanted to. And, because I wanted my peace. Like, I wanted to be alone. I wanted to be alone. And then, so I'm laying there, and I hear a whoo, whoo. And I'm like, no, it's not happening. And whoo, whoo. And I was like, oh, crap, it's just now. It's just now. And it was perched. It had to be perched right on top of the freaking RV. And it was just like, whoo, Ooh. I'm like, no. I go and I put my earplugs in, and I'm like, just ignore it. It can't stay there all night. It's gonna leave. And then that thing went for like an hour, and I was just scared for like an entire hour, just whoo. And then it got quiet, and then I was just like, okay, it's gone. And all of a sudden it was like, and it screeched so loud, and then you can literally hear the wings of it flapping away. And I was like, oh shit, like, oh, it's gone. I was like, it's gone. It's not coming back. Let me go to sleep. And I'm like, hindsight, I'm like, holy crap, was it the Lechuza? Like, the thing was trying to get in, and then I heard it after Dad died, perched up there, and then it screeched and it ran away. But, oh, that's scary. If you really believe in that stuff can actually really scare you. But, and then, like, I want to say like a week later after that, I saw on the post, like the city post.
The Lavernia City Post?
Yes. On the Facebook page, that there was like an owl in the area, a screeching owl. And they're like, man, that thing is scary at night. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. Yeah, there's just owls in the city. That's what it is.
See, I don't have anything like that. All my memories of it is just literally me being alone or me being with a group of friends, and then you just hear it's just real quiet all of a sudden. And then you just hear like a scream or something in the woods, or an owl flies, and you hear that thing, and you typically just scare yourself.
Yeah.
And one person starts running, then the next, and then you're like, why are we running? But we're running, and somebody says Lechuza, and you're just like, yep, just going and trying to figure out how to get inside.
And my family actually has so many stories about that property. Like, my dad's family has so many stories on my property. And if any of y'all are actually listening to this and y'all want to join us on the conversation, y'all know how to use Zoom, I would love to share the stories.
You can do a whole episode just on your dad's stories.
Just on stories of the Gonzalez family and that property alone. That can scare some Jesus into you.
How many of them are legal?
Yeah, we'll leave some of that out. But, yeah, if anybody wants to join us on conversations, I'd love to hear other people's ghost stories or experiences and stuff like that, just because they're so interesting. They're terrifying, but... I
don't know, half your dad's stories are a little extreme.
Dad's stories are true, okay?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure he was probably high during a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
I can say that now because he's gone, but... So, okay. That's it. That's it for our spooky October series.
Ooh, how do we end the podcast?
I don't know.
Like,
let's do another word association real quick, because I'm scared, and other people might be scared. And let's get on a good note here.
Ready? Eyeball.
Hair.